The night of June 6, 1992, was alive with the buzz of celebration in Springfield, Missouri. The air was warm, heavy with the promise of summer, as graduates from Kickapoo High School spilled out into the streets, their laughter echoing through the quiet neighborhoods. Among them were Susie Streeter, 19, and her friend Stacy McCall, 18, their faces bright with the thrill of freedom after their graduation ceremony. The two had spent the evening hopping between house parties, their voices mingling with the clink of soda cans and the hum of music. They were young, invincible, their future stretching out like the open road to Branson, where they planned to visit a water park the next day. Susie's mother, Cheryl Levitt, 47, was home that evening at 1717 East Del Mar Street, a hairstylist with a reputation for precision and warmth. Cheryl had spent the day in her tidy, modest house, which she'd been renovating with care. She'd spoken to a friend around 11:15 p.m., her voice calm as she mentioned painting a chest of drawers. The house was her sanctuary, shared with Susie and their Yorkshire Terrier Cinnamon, who yipped at the slightest sound. Cheryl was the kind of woman who never left without a plan, her purse and cigarettes always close at hand. Her life was rooted in routine, her clients at New Attitudes Hair Salon counting on her steady presence. As the clock ticked past midnight, Susie and Stacy decided against staying at a crowded friend's house. Instead, they drove to Cheryl's home, their cars pulling into the driveway around 2:15 a.m. The neighborhood was still, the streetlights casting soft pools of light on the pavement. The girls' laughter faded as they stepped inside, the door clicking shut behind them. Cinnamon greeted them with a wagging tail, and the house settled into silence. No one could have known that this moment, ordinary, fleeting, would mark the last time anyone saw the three women. By morning, the house at 1717 East Del Mar stood eerily quiet. The sun climbed high, but the front door remained unlocked, the porch light shattered, its glass scattered like broken promises across the steps. Inside, the scene was frozen in time. Purses lined up on the floor, keys dangling on a hook, cigarettes untouched. Stacy's clothes from the night before were neatly folded, her jewelry glinting in the morning light. Susie's movie theater shift and Stacy's job at the Springfield Gymnastics Center waited unclaimed. Cheryl's doctor's appointment would go unattended. Even Cinnamon seemed restless, pacing the floor as if searching for her missing companions. Janice McCall, Stacy's mother, felt a prickle of unease when her daughter didn't call. Stacy had promised to check in, to let her know their plans for the water park. By mid-morning, Janice drove to Cheryl's house, her heart pounding as she knocked on the door. No answer. She stepped inside, the air thick with an unnatural stillness. The TV flickered, casting shadows across the living room. Janice called out, her voice trembling, but only Cinnamon's soft whine replied. She noticed the purses, the cars parked outside, the unbroken calm of the house. Yet something was wrong, terribly wrong. Friends Janelle Kirby and Mike Henson arrived soon after, hoping to find Susie and Stacy ready for their day trip. Instead, they found the same unsettling scene. Janelle answered the phone, her stomach twisting as an unidentified male voice made crude remarks before she hung up. Another call followed, just as disturbing. She remembered Susie mentioning prank calls in recent weeks, but these felt different, ominous, like a shadow creeping closer. Janelle and Mike left, unsure what to do, and the house sat silent once more. When Janice called the Springfield Police Department, Officer Rick Bookout arrived to assess the scene. He noted the broken porch light, the only sign of disturbance, but found no evidence of a struggle. The FBI joined the investigation days later, as the case grew stranger with each passing hour. The women's cars, money, and personal belongings were all accounted for, ruling out a spontaneous departure. Community searches scoured Lake Springfield and the James River, while missing persons posters, over 20,000 of them, blanketed the city. The media dubbed them the Springfield Three, a name that would haunt the Ozarks for decades. Investigators pieced together a timeline. Cheryl was last heard from at 11:15 p.m., the girls last seen at 2:15 a.m. The window of their disappearance was tight, between 2:15 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. A witness reported seeing a green van near the house that morning, possibly driven by someone resembling Susie, But the lead fizzled when thousands of vans yielded no answers. An answering machine message, potentially a clue, was accidentally erased by a friend checking the house. The calls Janelle received were traced, but led nowhere. The caller's teenish voice a dead end. Theories swirled like leaves in a storm. Some pointed to Robert Craig Cox, a convicted kidnapper and robber living in Springfield in 1992. In 1997, from a Texas prison, Cox claimed the women were murdered and their bodies would never be found. His girlfriend later recanted his alibi, admitting he'd asked her to lie, but investigators found no concrete evidence tying him to the case. His cryptic statements seemed more like a bid for attention than a confession. Others looked at Dustin Reckla, Susie's ex-boyfriend, who'd been involved in a grave-robbing incident at Maple Park Cemetery. Susie had given a statement to police about the crime, sparking speculation of retaliation, but Reckla passed a polygraph and was never charged. Another theory suggested a connection to a local real estate dynasty, the Rankin family, tied to a mysterious fourth boy in the cemetery case. Internal police memos hinted at pressure to avoid pursuing certain leads, but no solid evidence emerged. In 2007, a ground-penetrating radar scan of a hospital parking garage revealed anomalies, but police dismissed the lead as impractical, citing the garage's construction timeline. Tips about a hog farm in Webster County and a concrete company yielded nothing but false hopes. Cadaver dogs hit on old bones, and possible blood evidence proved inconclusive. For Janice McCall, the years stretched on, each day a battle between hope and despair. She hung posters, raised a $43,000 reward, and spoke to every reporter who would listen. "Until I know for sure Stacy is gone, I won't stop believing she'll come home," she said, her voice steady despite the pain. Cheryl's sister, Deborah Schwartz, had her sister and niece declared dead in 1997, finding solace in dreams where Cheryl assured her they weren't suffering. The community, too, held tight to the mystery, with podcasts like the Springfield 3, A Small-Town Disappearance, and books like Gone in the Night, keeping the story alive. Springfield changed after that summer. The innocence of 1992 gave way to a quiet unease, a reminder that evil could slip through an unlocked door. The house on East Delmar stood as a monument to the unknown, its silence louder than any answer. Were the women taken by someone they knew? Was it a random act, a predator seizing a moment? Or did the truth lie buried in the Ozarks, hidden by time and secrets? 30 years later, the Springfield Three remain a ghost story etched into the heart of Missouri. Their faces, Cheryl's kind eyes, Susie's bright smile, Stacy's dimpled grin, linger on faded posters, a plea for closure. The police still take tips, the reward fund waits, and families hold their breath. Somewhere, someone knows what happened that night. Until they speak, the mystery endures, a wound that refuses to heal.